Let's see what happens. Volume might be a little bit loud. Or maybe not. Let's see what happens. Maybe it's because that's loud. Volume might be a little bit loud. Or maybe not. Alright, Walls of the House, Part 3. I'm gonna skip by on the last video. I was having a discussion about the sill plate bolts, which are those things, and I actually need them to be on the foundation walls. They're supposed to be sticking up, and I really didn't want to complete that because my nerves were kind of shot, and that little stuff really kills me. So I'm just going to move on. I'll come back to it later on when I've had some of my funny stuff there and be able to do that, but I gotta wait to pick some more of that up. So I'm going to go back to the sheathing and we're going to start building some walls. This is probably a little bit smaller than the thumbnail on the original picture, but I'll try and make it look the same after it's done. Add up all the costs of the materials, all the cost of the appliances, the couches, the television sets, the beds, and then there's the on the beds there's also the sheets. So there you gotta think about the price of the sheets, the pillows, gotta think about the price of the pillowcases, the laundry, and then there's all the supplies for it. You need all the laundry soaps. There's a lot to do when building a house. So this is as simple as I could get it. I'm sure I could have made it smaller, like a little tiny square thing, but people kind of want at least a little bit of space to be able to walk around and maybe put some activities into an area where they can enjoy them. So let's start with some walls. Let's start with the outer walls, and we'll do the through walls first. And the through walls are basically, is that lined up? It's not lined up. Oh, you know what? This is a tough one because I've got a bit of a problem here. If I go down, which I forgot about actually, to there, this, oh, is that hanging over the edge there? Doesn't show it hanging over the edge. Oh, I know why, because that's higher than that. So if I take this sheathing, which is at a higher elevation, so it doesn't show up on the floor joist elevation level, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to the floor joist and paste it there. It should paste into the same location. And there you can see there's those 3 inches. That's those 3 inches extra for the rim plates. Kind of a bit of a problem because that's going to end up with some squeaks. And I really don't want to have to cut. Well, what do I do here? This is a tough call. I've got 3 inches extra there. Now I'm sure somebody with the knowledge, complete knowledge of this, would be probably tell me to take one of the sheets here and divide it into 2 smaller sheets, which works just fine actually. So if I take one of these 4-footers, or these 4-footers going across the whole area there, let's zoom out of that. Man, I've got my jacket on, I was just outside, and it was a little bit cold out there, but it's nice and warm in here, so I'm starting to overheat. I drank too much coffee this morning. I'm going to drink some more anyways. So I'm drinking decaffeinated coffee now. Start with 2 caffeinateds in the morning, and then I switch to decaf, and I don't get those jitters as much as I do. Not even close actually. Man, I used to be a wreck. I used to drink like 20-30 cups of coffee a day. It was killing me. Caffeinated. Got rid of the caffeine and kaplowy. Life became much better. But I still need a little bit of it. Don't mind having a little bit of it. Get a little bit of a change. See how powerful those chemicals are. Really makes a difference when I have my morning coffee now. That caffeine really actually wakes me up. You can really notice it. As before, I didn't notice anything until I stopped. Only had a little bit of it at a time. Give myself a break in between. Coffee break. Now I need to get that 3 inches covered, and I'm going to suggest that I take these pieces and flip them around. So if I take this piece here and flip it, oh, and you know what? Oh, I also made another mistake. Pardon me. Here's another problem. Let's move this out. So before I start the walls, you know what? No, I need to fix this before starting the walls. So I'm supposed to have these sheets kind of overlap. So when I get to the end, or when I start this next row, I should start this with a 4-footer. So I'm going to change the width, which is 8 feet. I'm going to change that to 4 feet. Then I'm going to move that out to the edge here. And then I'm going to take these 3 8-footers, and I'm going to move these down to there. Get some overlap in this thing. I don't know why that is. There's a reason for it. But I've got a bit of physics skills, but not a lot. So I'm sure it has something to do with the distribution of the load. I don't know. So I'm not sure. So let's take that 4-footer, copy that 4-foot piece. Oh, pasted it. No, let's rewind that, press the rewind button. Take that piece, copy it, paste it. Let's move that into that section there. That's better. Now they're all overlapping. Okay, well, that's fine there. Okay, now let's do the same down below. So let's just take, oh no, we're flipping these ones all around, so these can go. And we want, that's 4 foot 3 inches from there to the edge, because of the 3 extra inches from the 2 rim plates on either side of the building. Each of those being 1.5 inches in, what would that be? Is that its depth? I guess that's the depth, because it's across the bottom is the X, going upwards is the Y, and going inwards is the Z. So the top of that's actually the Z axis. So that's 1.5 inches. That's a 2 by 10 by 16, which is actually 1 by 5 by 9 by 5 by 16 feet. So because they plane the wood, so the dimensions that you get in the store actually aren't the actual dimensions of the dimensional lumber, which is a little bit strange, very confusing. That's why people, they start this stuff and it's like, what is that? That doesn't make any sense, so they quit. So that's what I did for a very, very long time. So I just decided to say, well, I'll get the information. That's a 1.5 by 9.5 by 16 foot. I think that's correct. It's more correct than a 2 by 10 by 16, but nonetheless, I need that to be 4 foot 3 inches to the edge. So if I take one of these and I'll copy it, I'll select one of those, I'll copy that, I'm going to paste that, then I'm going to take that piece there and I'm going to change its dimensions. So let's change its dimensions. Its width, which is across the X axis, is 4 feet. There's the width, see the X. No, they've got that the wrong way around. Oh, hang on, what is that? X and Y. They've got the Z as the height, the Y is the height, the Z is the depth. From what I remember, it was 2-dimensional and then 3-dimensional, but I could be wrong. Anyhow, not a concern. It's probably right. I've just got my information wrong. Let's just stick with what I know for now until someone corrects me. So I want to change the width of that to 4 feet. I want to change the depth of that. Oh no, the width. Yeah, the depth of that to 4 feet 3 inches. 4 feet 3 inches. And its height is 3/4, which is the Y direction. Width and height. X and Y. Depth, Z. And unless they've changed them. Either way, someone needs to become a little bit more universal and get their measurements in proper order, because otherwise everyone's never going to be able to do this stuff. They did the same thing with the computer system. Went and took something that was real simple. Well, not simple, but they made it extremely complicated. The amount of things I've had to change over the course of using these computers is just unbelievably frustrating to no end. So that should fit if that's correct. Let's have a look. Let's just get the three-dimensional one there. Yeah, or is that hanging over? Not by much. Pretty damn close. 4 few inches, but I've got the 1/8 of an inch gap in between each of these. So there's 2/8 of an inch, 2/8 is 1/4 of an inch. So if I take another 1/4 inch off the depth of that and make that 4 feet 11 3/4 inches, which is 4 feet, 4 feet 1/4 inch off of 4 feet 3 inches is 4 feet 2 3/4. 4 feet 2 3/4. There we go. That should line up a little better. Well, that looks pretty close. Alright. I assure you it's close enough for blueprints. But when you get on the job site, you trim that with your saw. So there's a lot to make this easy. Alright, so let's copy those. Copy. Now let's paste those. One, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Let's see if that's enough of them. I could have counted that, but I really didn't feel like it. Sometimes you don't always have to use a tape measure. Sometimes becoming a little bit too precise will drive you to insanity. I mean, what do they expect? What's next? Gotta measure my cereal with a microscope? Come on. That's what happens. That's what happens. Nothing wrong with it. It's just that for some people, I just don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. I don't mind dealing with it. I find it kind of interesting, to be quite honest, but I certainly don't want to spend my whole day determining whether or not my bowl of cereal was 1.5782 grams because I came up with some logarithmic calculation that says if I don't eat that, I'm going to, I don't know, lose a few minutes of my life at the end. That seems like a lot of work for a few minutes of life. So, let's put that back into there. Let's go into there. To there. Let's tighten those up. Let's move that up a bit. Move that one up a bit. That one can go up a bit. That's pretty good. That's not bad. Alright. Zooming along, cruising. Alright, had a good sleep last night. Woke up grumpy though. Oh, I do not do well in the early part of the day. And it looks like I need one more of those. Paste, still copied into the clipboard. Paste that one in. And that should line up pretty darn good, except for those 8 inches of a gap. I'm probably going to end up trimming off a bit of that end one because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gaps along that bottom row, all 1/8 of an inch. At 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths is half an inch, and there's 7 of them, so that's almost an inch, is it? 1/4 inch, half inch, 3/4 inch, inch and a quarter. Oh no, those are eighths. 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. So every 2 is a quarter, and I can't really count eighths. I'm not that fast. So 1/4 for 2 and another 1/4 is a half. Plus 1/4 is 3/4. Oh, so an inch over that, the run of those pieces of plywood. Alright, so now we got the plywood in place, and that looks a little better from above there. It's all lined up a bit more. No, not any major overlaps. Oh, we got an extra piece of plywood there, though. Is that an extra piece? What happened to that piece? Which one is that? That's, how many from the end? That's 1, 2, the third one. What do we got there? Did the elevation on that change? It looks like the elevation on that's changed. Oh no, it's not that one. It's that one. Oh, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Is it that one? No, it's that one. It's that one there. So let's put that back. Put that back in its spot. Now, what's wrong with this one? Look at that. It must be elevated. Look at that. 3/4 of an inch elevation. So let's change that back to 0 elevation for that level. And that level's probably, what is that level of elevation? Well, we can check that. Double click on the level sheathing, and its elevation is currently at 4 feet 11.5 inches. So that's 4 feet 11.5 inches from the bottom of the foundation, which isn't actually the grade level, but for this example it's much easier to take the measurements from the very bottom and build it upwards, because you can, in the end, you're going to need probably a cross-sectional view of the front of this house, and the sides of the house, and the backs of the house, so with all those called elevation drawings, if I remember correctly. So let's move that into place. Let's move that about right there. And if anybody does chat, probably nobody watching, but I don't have any of my stuff up here to monitor if there's anybody there. What the hell happened there? An error occurred. Live streaming. What's going on? We'll start again. Is it still on there? Yeah. Oh, it's still there. So I suppose I can reload that. It's still on there. Reload that. Oh, it's still there. See if that does anything. And I can reload that. Yeah, that's there. Alright. Must have been a bug in the system or something. Alright, so go back to the drawing. Oh, here we go. Let's do this little video here. This is what this house may possibly look at. Drawing. Oh, here we go. Let's do this little video here. This is what this house may possibly look at. I bet you by the time this is done, you can probably, all the pieces put together, maybe $15,000. That's if you do the artwork yourself. By the time this is done, probably all the pieces put together, maybe $15,000. Let's go 20,000. Let's go 20,000 high. Let's go 20,000 high, and let's see what the results will be. This is probably going to take about 6 months to do, but what the heck? Let's go 20,000. Let's go 20,000. Call this one of my hobbies. Let's go 20,000 high, and let's see what the results will be. This is probably going to take about 6 months to do, but what the heck? Let's go 20,000. All right. So go back to there, and yeah, the walls. The walls are next. Not exactly the straightest pieces of plywood. I need those kind of to be pretty straight if I'm putting the walls on that, because I would have trimmed those out. If I was on site, I would have trimmed off that little edge there, and I would have trimmed off that little edge there. So let's just get these things lined up on the edges, because we're putting in walls here, and I need them to be straight. Straight. Otherwise, it's not going to look very good. So straighten that out. Straighten that one out. So basically there'll be a few gaps going on. Go around, trim off all the edges. Done to code. So should be fairly straightforward. How are these edges looking? Oh, there's another edge that's out. Trim that one off. Now, up top, what do we got up top? Let's move this one up a bit. Up a bit. Now, is that in line with those? Can go in a bit. Let's take the blue off that. Oh, another pixel or so. Okay, that's another 1/8 of an inch. Bonk. Drop that in, and probably a 1/16 of an inch at that point. Put that in there. That's pretty close. Let's put this in there. Line that up. A bit more. Drop that down one. Pretty close. How are we looking across the top? Top's out there. That's on there. That's on there. So this left corner needs to go up a little bit. Move that on up. Alright, is that in line? That looks pretty straight. Okie dokie. Let's move that one up. Make that 1/8 an inch on each end. I can move that up a little bit more. Yeah, how's that? Oh, even a bit more. There we go. Let's go down, move it down one. Doesn't seem to want to do one movement down. No, maybe it does. One movement up. Alright, there, that'll do. Let's have a look at that base. Look pretty solid, pretty square. I haven't checked the right edge yet, but that looks pretty. Let's look down that. Line of sight looks pretty straight. That's pretty straight. Pretty straight. Looks pretty straight. Oh, there's an overlap on the edge there, but I'm going to actually need to take that off because I need these walls to be straight. Let's move that in. Trim that off. Yeah, how's that look? That looks pretty straight. There's probably a 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch overhang there. Very hard to see. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's bring in the little dude. Let's bring in the inspector. Let's have the inspector come in and have a look at this. Let's go down to that edge there. I got an elevation drop in one of those. We'll move this guy down to the edge. Let's move this out for a moment. Hey, where'd my mouse go? Hey, where's my zoom out? Oh, I can't zoom out because I'm using the little man to look. Okay, so let's have a look here. Let's turn this guy. Inspectors come over to have a look at the wall here. Check out my sheathing. So let's double click on him and let's put his eyesight down at about 11 inches. Let's go 11 inches. Oh, 4 foot 11 inches. Oh, on this level. On this level I need it to be at probably almost 0 inches. Alright, let's try that. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. So there. Oh, I need it to be even lower. I'm going to have a look at that overhang. 11 inches. Let's go 1 inch. 1 inch. Okie dokie. Yeah, guess I can't go that low. Guess I can't go that low. I should be able to go that low. 0. 1 inch. No, won't let me do 1 inch. How about 6 inches? Oh, let's try this. See when it turns red. It turns red at 3 inches and 7/8. Let's try that. Oh, that's as low as I can go. Well, I can't really get a view of it there. Unless, no, I know what I can do. I can change levels. Let's go to the floor joists. Now, where am I? Oh, there we go. There's a better view. Looks like it's pretty much on there. All the sheathing. Show all levels. 3D view. Display all levels. There it is. Now I can see that there's a definite overhang there. You see that? Look at that. You can see that overhang there. Let's try the other end. Oh, looks like there's a bit of an overhang there too. Look at that. Alright, that's going to be pretty close though. that'll do for this example. But on site, I would have come along with my skill saw and I would have run along the edge of that, trimmed that off, make it nice and flush. Now, some people might have been looking at this and saying, you don't have, I haven't, well, if I can get a good view of this, I haven't left, well, there is a bit of a concrete outlet there, but I've tried to make it flush. Some people say that you need to put like 3/4 of an inch or a half inch or 1/4 of an inch, I can't remember what it is, in on the foundation wall. That's an 8-inch foundation wall. So if I'm using a 2x16 2x6x16 to run down the stem wall there, the foundation wall, that I should move that base plate in maybe 1/4 or a half an inch, so that when I put the siding or the final finishing on the outside of the house, it will end up flush with that cement. But I've only got 6 inches of cement hanging out of my grade, above the grade of cement, so I'm really not too concerned about it, because I'll probably finish that off with some stonework or something like that anyhow, right? So it just makes it easier for me to do. So let's go back up to the sheathing level. Let's go back to the overhead view, aerial view, and let's start working on the walls. Alright, let's just have a look here, see where I'm at. That's still loaded, that's still functioning. Seems to be functioning okay. Oh, I got 2 views. Well, that's probably because I've got my own, no, is that it? 44 seconds. Well, maybe somebody is watching. I don't know. Kind of neat if there is. Okay, close that one. Okay, so back to the walls. So you can build the walls. Basically, you can probably build them on the deck there, or on the floor. But I'm going to be using 1x5 by 5 by 5. Yeah, I want to do this myself, so I kind of want to make it easy. And if I don't mind spending an extra couple dollars so that I can save a fortune not having to hire people to help me. So if let's first of all, let's get one of these. Let's make one. Let's make a 1x5 by 5 by 5 by 8 foot base plate, wall base plate. So let's start with that. So let's go to the miscellaneous components on the side over there, and let's look for that box. Where's that box? Where's that box? Box. Here it is. Bring that box in there. Now there's a couple ways I can make these studs. I could actually use the wall function, and I could just put a wall in. You can't really see that wall. Let me change the color of that. Change the color of that. Alright. Let's change that to red. Color. Or any color will do. Okay. Let's make the other side of that wall the same color. Okie dokie. And let's check the measurements. That's 8 foot in height, which I don't want, because this is actually going to be a... Oh, hang on. I could... Yeah. I need a stud height if I'm going to build the 2x4 or the 1x5 by 3x5. In my case, it's a 5x5 because I'm using a 2x6. I use a 2x6 to make the building soundproof. I really don't want to be disturbed by a lot of traffic of noise and people. You know, I can go outside for that. So, not disturbed, or I don't want. Maybe I don't want to enjoy all the noise outside. I mean, I'm sorry, a little bit of a negative way of putting it there. Didn't mean to do that, but thickness is 6 inches. It's not actually 6 inches. It's 5.5 inches. So we change that to 5.5, and this will actually make a solid wall. So if I change that, now you can see it's blue. If I take this and I extend it, you can see there's a wall there. I can take that wall and I can just pretty much position it. But the problem with that is I'm really not going to get to see how to build a wall. But it's a very, very handy tool, because afterwards I can use that to construct the that picture image that I showed you a moment ago, wherever it was. Picture image. Where was it? Picture image. Let's have a look here. Picture image. On that one there, I can use that to build those walls and create what I want the place to maybe look like ahead of time really fast. And then afterwards, I have to reverse engineer it. And I have to put in all those components. And then I have to add up what each of those components are going to cost just for the actual material. And then after that, I have to figure out how much it's going to cost for people to build it. But this house, being fairly simple, can be built by quite a large amount of people who are willing to maybe put in a little bit of time and understanding and research. And I assure you, the amount of money saved off learning how to build something like this is just phenomenal. To hire a 4-man crew just to come in for the day where I live, if I got a 4-man crew coming in to do framing, they're going to get it done pretty quick, no doubt. But it's still going to cost me probably $40 for the lead hand just for him to show up. And then each of those guys around where I'm living is probably going to be getting $30 an hour. So that's 40 plus another 3 guys at 30. That's 3 guys at 30 is $90 an hour, plus another guy at $40 an hour is $120 an hour, right? I mean, you multiply that over, say, they could probably frame this thing in a day. Even still, a day at, what did I say, $120 an hour times 4? Or no, times 4. No, $120 an hour times 8. That's $1,000 just to have some 4 guys come in. It'll probably take me to frame this with a little bit of practice, maybe a couple weeks. But you know what? It's kind of nice. Get to learn how to build it. Not only that, I get to make you get the joy of knowing that it's going in properly, right? Because the way people work today, it's just like they want to get in and they want to get out as fast as possible. And it's still really solid. Their work is still probably very precise, but peace of mind by knowing that it's going in properly is just massive. The building will probably last much longer, and the atmosphere within inside that building, so it's just so much nicer. Now on the other side of it, if I can't do this, and even if I do have those guys pay those guys to come in and build that, the price of this thing is still going to be way below the price of buying, say, a family house at the age of 18 when I don't have a family, right? That doesn't make sense. I would be better off to purchase a piece of land, put something small on it, and then add additions to it as I go. And if I can, even if I have to pay someone to come and do it, it's still, I fork out $300,000 to build myself a family home, and I end up not having a family. Well, I'm just going to end up losing like $250,000, right? Just because I figured I was going to have a family, and I don't know if I am or I'm not. I'm really not going to talk about my personal life, whether I have a family or not, but I'm just saying that starting from, say, the age of 18, when most people graduate from school, I'm just not sure what's happening. But anyhow, I'll leave that at that. So let's take out that. Oh, what happened to that wall? Where'd that wall go? Let's have a look. On the left, there should be a wall thing in here. Oh, and I forgot to name all those things. That's another thing I missed. Plywood wall. Where the hell is the wall? Sheathing. Was that on the next level? No? Where did that go? Huh. Well, it's got to be hiding probably into there. There it is. So let's delete that. Let's put that back. Now you can see what you can get to learn here. I mean, this is all to code within my area. And I can tell you right now, just looking at that plywood, each one of those plywoods, 3/4 inch, maybe $30 a pop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 4, 16 times 30, 16 times 30. What's 16 times 30? That's 16 three times is $480. $480 to put all that plywood on there, plus the screws, and also the adhesive glue that I put underneath on each of those joists. So that's all in the cost. But those costs are pretty small. I mean, when I have to pay a guy $40 an hour to put in a sheet of plywood that costs $30, and all I got to do is learn how to either put some nails in or put some screws in, although I do have to learn how to do it properly and to code, because after each of these levels there's going to be an inspector that's going to come in and he's going to check my framing. My plumbing's not in there currently, and my electrical's not in there currently. But what I'll do later on is I'll pull one of these sheets off like that, open it up, and I'll run my plumbing in there. Usually the plumbers will probably be coming in here after I've got the frame up. Usually they'll come in, I'm guessing of course, but from what I've seen, once these joists go up, the plumber will come in, plumber being me. So I'll come in and I'll basically run my my conduits for the plumbing, the PVC piping, and this is going to be a small house, and I basically got a bathroom and a kitchen, and they're back to back. I'm going to put them real close together, so I use as little materials as I can. I'm sure I could simplify this a lot more, but this is about as simplified as I can get it for now. So this is like building a home 101. This is like an introduction. That's what I learned from it. That's what those guys showed me. When I was working with those guys, they were like, hey man, you can do this. And I was just a laborer, right? So what I need to do now is I need to build a base plate. So I'm going to call it now. I need to put names on these, because on the left there, down below there, with all those things there, I got to rename all those because I can't tell what it. Oh, plywood, I can tell what it is. What else we got in there? Because I named that. Oh, let's go back to doing what we were doing here. Let's start getting a wall in. So let's pull this through wall, which means it's going to run from corner to corner. So that's going to be a through wall. I don't need to display the name in the plan, but I do need to give it some color, and I'm going to use a different color brown so it stands out on the top there. Let's maybe go a bit darker brown, maybe somewhere in there. So I'm going to use that for its color. Now its width, this is a base plate, so its width 6, or pardon me, I'm doing 8 footers so I can do it myself. So delete that. So 8 feet in length, or pardon me, in its width. Its height is 1.5 inches, and its depth is 5.5 inches, which is a 2x6, or a 2x6 by 8 piece of dimensional lumber, but its actual dimensions are those. So I've put that in place. So that stands out fairly decent, but I need to start a new level. I need to add another level. I need to call that level frame. Let's call it the frame. Frame. Press OK. So I'm going to go back to that level. Oh, and I need to set the elevation of that level. And the elevation of that level is right above the sheathing. The sheathing is at 4 foot 11.5 inches. So I want this level to be at, say, floor thickness, 1/8 of an inch. I'm not sure what that is, but my floor thickness is actually 3/4 inches. The height of that level is that is not really necessary here, but if the sheathing is at 4 foot 11.5 inches, that's its elevation level, which is basically the sheathing's ground zero level. If I add 3/4 of an inch to that, because that's the height of the piece of plywood, it's going to be 3/4 of an inch, 11 5/8. What did I come up with 5/8? That's not correct. That's supposed to be 11 3/4. Is that correct? I think that was right. Let's check that. That's at 4 feet. Sheathing has another, or not the sheathing, the floor joists are at 4 feet. But they are 10 foot, or pardon me, 10 inches high plus 1.5 inches, which is 11.5 inches. So my sheathing should have been at 11.5 inches, and my frame needs to be on that level. So basically I want my frame to start at 4 feet 11.5 inches. Oh, plus 3/4. So 3/4 to 11.5 inches is 5 foot and a quarter. I think that's right. Let's try that. 5 feet and a quarter. 5 feet and a quarter inch. Got to use those little arrows there for the quarter inch. Okay. Oh, what just happened there? Well, we're going to rewind that and frame. Oh, because I got it at 12 feet. Frame 4 feet. 4 feet 11 3/4. What's happened there? Is that correct? Oh, that looks pretty close. The color of my plywood changed. So I need to change the color of my base plate to a different color. Let's make it maybe a little lighter brown. Maybe there. Let's try that. That's better. I can see that. Yeah, that stands out. So is that right on the money? Zoom in. That looks pretty right on the money. Or pardon me, right on. Oh, what's going on with that? This corner board's out. Straighten that up. There we go. Let's save this. I've got to remember to save the document there, or might lose it all. Don't want to lose it all. Well, I suppose. Well, I don't know. Depends on the situation, I guess. Oh, hang on. Is that below it? Why is that changed? Maybe I need to add 1/8 of an inch to that. Let's try that. No, it's still got the double up on the yellow there. Oh! Oh, damn it. That was completely wrong. Oh, almost screwed up there. 1/8 of an inch to that. Yep, still not 1/8 of an inch. Let's try 5. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that supposed to be 5 feet and a quarter? Yeah, what the fuck's going on with this now? Excuse my swearing. I've worked in a lot of warehouses over my lifetime. Why isn't that functioning properly? Elevation's at 0 there, but I shouldn't have that double up. Let's move this up quite a bit. Let's move this elevation up to let's bring this right off the drawing. No? Oh, you know why? Because this is actually, I've got that on the wrong level. So I'm going to copy that, I'm going to delete that. That's on the level below. I'm going to come up to here, I'm going to paste that. Now it's going to be way above that. As you can see the gap there. See how it's sitting above that floor level? So the elevation, if I remember correctly, was, what did I say it was? 5 foot 3/4, 5 foot and a quarter. 5 foot and a quarter. No, that's not it. I've got the sheathing at 4 feet 11 1/4. If I've added 3/4 of an inch to that, oh, 5 feet and a quarter. That says 5 feet 1 1/4. That's why. Let's move that down to 5 feet 1/4. Seems to always be a answer. There, now it's sitting nice and flush. So there's the base plate. To that base plate, now I'm going to have to put in some measurements. This is the only problem with this program, is I can't see the floors below, which makes it really difficult. So what I could do with this level for now is I can drop this whole level down. Let's drop this down and see if the other level shows up. That's better. So now I can see the other level. I'll raise that back to where it's supposed to be a little bit later, because in my elevation drawings I really need to be precise. So that's there now. That's what is that? That's a 1 by 5 by 5 by 5 by 16-foot base plate. Now I'm going to run a few of these all the way down, but I'm going to start with one section of the wall. One section of the wall. So those are all nailed into place. Now I'm going to need some studs. But before I have those studs, I think I'm going to need to take, let's build one stud first, and then I'm going to go take a coffee break. Coffee break. Coffee break. Man, I watched a lot of YouTube videos from a lot of guys and girls that enabled me to figure out how to do this, but I have a lot of time. I'm basically retired, so I spend most of my day figuring out what to do with it, and not spending too much money while doing so, but trying to keep my future stable. So I got a little bit of a positive outlook. Don't want to go into debt. Debt's just a killer, man. If you're in debt, I've been in debt. I consolidated my loans and paid them off. Took a long time, but they're gone. So that's nice. That's a nice feeling. Simplified it. Back to basics. Reason being is that, well, I don't never like putting myself down, but reality kind of states that if I don't have a memory to be able to memorize, say, tons and tons of information, chances are my ability to do things difficult is going to be quite difficult. So upon simplifying a lot of these things, I found a lot of opportunity to really enjoy it, regardless of the comparisons of, say, my little tiny house here versus, say, I don't know, the mansion on the hill. But don't get me wrong, I'd still like to have a mansion on the hill, but nonetheless, I wouldn't probably ever get one if I just waited. So I figure might as well enjoy, get living. Alright, so I need a box here. I need this box, I need it to be a stud. There's the box. I'm going to take that box and rearrange it into a stud. That stud now is a little bit of information in putting in a studded wall, because I now have to take into account the drywall, and I want to put that drywall in easily. So if I'm looking at an 8-foot wall, then a piece of drywall standard is 4 by 8 sheet. Then if I'm running them flat across the bottom, I'm going to have 2 sheets going across the bottom, one on top of each other, each of those sheets being 4 foot in height. But I need to leave a little bit of gap in between each one of them for the mud and for the tape and for, once again, construction and whatever that stuff's called. Contraction and expansion, I think it's called. And the engineers have designed studs and measured them, built them so that it's easy to do. So if I have a base plate and it's 1.5 inches in height, I've got to add in that stud, and then I've got to add in, I'm going to put 2 top plates on it, just for more stability, just because it's not much extra for the size of this house. So, and I think that's standard. I'm not sure I think that's standard practice, but I'm not sure. So this is going to be called a wall stud, through wall stud, through wall stud. And they have a designed height for that, and the height of that is, if I remember correctly, it's 92 5/8 inches. I could be wrong, but I think it's 92 5/8 inches. I'll verify that. Let's find out. Let's verify that. We got the computer here. Height of stud in wall. Oh, I didn't spell it very. The computer's picked that up. Height of stud in wall. Framing wall with 8-foot studs. I usually use pre-cut studs to frame 8 feet and 9 feet tall walls. Pre-cut studs are shorter than finished height of the wall to allow for the thickness of the bottom and the top plates. The pre-cut stud for an 8-foot wall is actually 92 and 5/8 inches. Is that what I put in? 92 and 5/8 inches, which works out to 7 foot 8 and 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so we've got the height, the depth of that wall going into the plane is 1.5. Oh no, because it's on its turn. So the depth of that is, it's a 6-inch width stud, which is 5.5 inches. So type in 5.5 inches, and its width is now 1.5 of an inch. So the color of that I want to be the same as the color of the base plate. Press OK. Is that correct? Let's have a look. I think that's alright. Let's press OK. Let's see what that box changes into there. Press OK. Poof! There it is. A nice little stud. And that stud is too high. Why is that stud too high? Oh no, it's not. It's too low. So on this level, I need to take that stud and I need to move that to, let's move that to there. Let's turn this around, and I need to make the height, let's zoom into that. Zoom in. Can't really see it there, but I need to increase the height of that by the height of that base plate, and that's 1.5 inches. So I'm going to take the elevation of that, and I'm going to move it up to 1.5 inch. And that's going to sit right on the top of that. Now, is that on top or is that higher? Oh no, I think that's on top. Let's get a bird's eye view, or let's get the inspector to come in and have a look. Bring it in, the inspector. So move to there, and that looks like it's flush. I think he'd pass that. Now we got the inspector there. He said, he's going, "Hey man, your wall's out there. Look at that. You got an overhang there. You're gonna have to fix that." And I'm like, "Okay, I can do that. I can do that right now. Don't have to call up my carpenter here. And I just gonna take that off there. I'm gonna move that over. That's nice. Oh yeah, good job, good job. I'm gonna make the studs a little bit different color, just so we can see them. Let's make the studs orange. Let's have a look at that. No, it doesn't really stand out. I want to be able to see the contrast between the two pieces. Double click on that. Alright. Let's go to, let's make this a darker brown. Let's try that. There, that stands out better. Alright. Yeah, maybe not quite that dark though, because you want it to kind of blend in and make it look like it's all one piece. How about let's try maybe a bit darker. Maybe there. Let's try that. See how that looks. No, that's almost the same. Okay, let's try it again. Let's try it there. Let's try that. That's a bit better. Now I can see the difference. Now I can see the contrast there. I want to be able to see this stuff so it stands out. Then I'm going to move that over to the edge there. So that's lined up. I'm going to copy that now. I'm going to paste that. I'm going to paste 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I'm going to click these 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure there's not an extra one on there, which there isn't. Now move that out of place. But now I'll just do the press the undo move button. Bonk. Goes right back to where it was. Now these studs are all going to be sitting in here. Now I've got a corner wall, and there's a certain way to design those corner walls. But my main objective here is let me put the other base plate going the other way. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that. This is an 8-footer, and I'm gonna rotate that around. Rotate that there. And I'm going to move that. I'm going to put that into place right about there, but I'm going to move it over to the edge there. Let's get the inspector dude here to have a look. How's it look, Inspector? Ah, it looks pretty close. What about my join? How does that join look? Not sure. It might be inside the wall there. Well, you can see that there. There. Okay, so that's pretty close there. Have him come and check the level around the corner again over here. And looks pretty good. Looks pretty solid. So something to think about here is in this corner, once I start running that drywall, if I didn't have that there and I started making my measurements from the corner, this would all be out. Because when I go to put that drywall in, it's got to start actually 5.5 inches in from that butt wall. The butt wall is the wall in between. This is a through wall, so it's going to go all the way down. So we'll put that into place. Now I need to start, so I'm going to need to have a stud right there, because the reason for that, oops, let's go back one. The reason for that is Control C, Control V. Take that stud, zoom in on this. A little bit of action going on here. You can straighten out those studs as well. They're all out of line. And this plywood underneath there is out of line. Straighten that out. This stud is going to go right there. And the reason for that is when I put my drywall up on the inside of that, I need something to attach it to. And if I didn't have a stud there, I'd have a loose piece of drywall, and then there'd be no support for it. And I'm going to copy one of these. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that. And I'm going to do the same for the other corner there. Because when I run the drywall in this corner, same thing there, right at the corner. There it is. Got a nice spot for the drywall. So I can attach my drywall to there, and I can attach my drywall to there. Now, I may even want to put, technically I'm supposed to have another one of these, I believe. Copy and paste. Supposed to have another one right there, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's correct. Something to do with the corner. Adds more support to it. I'm going to have a, say I use 1/2-inch drywall. I want soundproofing, so I mean it adds a bit of soundproofing, 1/4 inch, and it's more solid, won't warp as much, and it'll create a nice smoother finish for painting. So I'll have a 1/2-inch drywall going across there and a 1/2 inch going the other way, and that's 1.5 inches, so that's 2 pieces of 3/4. That should leave me enough to attach the drywall. So let's zoom out of that. Zoom out. Now I have to put in these in. Now I got some spacing to do. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'm going to go take a break. I need a coffee. Need a coffee. But it's starting to come together. Starting to look like something. Starting to look like an actual building. And, you know, it's not that bad. It's simplified. But like I said, if it turns out looking like that, except for maybe the door. That's an expensive door. Kind of put that in there by accident, but it kind of looks like that for $15,000 or $20,000. I mean, come on, for a starter place for a kid to start, good spot to go. I mean, $20,000 plus the price of land. So now it's location, 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 right? And for people who got lots of money, I like those big houses. I think they look really nice. Just can't afford to live in it. It doesn't mean I should be mad at them. It just means that I got to come up with another option. And there's an option, right? I want to be able to live comfortably and say, all right, I've been covered. I've got a nice place to live. I'm feeling pretty good. It's clean. I can enjoy all those other people's things that they built because to be quite honest, they're quite amazing. And they really did come from the beginning of these types of structures a long, long time ago, even before they had lumber and all that stuff, right? But neat stuff. So I go back to the where am I at? There. And what was I wanted to do? Oh yeah, I wanted to go for a break. Wanted to take a break. So let's leave that there for now. And I'm going to go for a break. Alright, put a little message up on the board. Gone for coffee. Going for coffee. I think I might go buy some beer later. Going for a beer. Beer me. Gone for a coffee, back in a bit. Alright. Groovy. Let's minimize that. Let's check the YouTube feed and see that that's up there so that I don't bother anybody. No, it's not there. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Alright, let's go to there. Alright. Gone for coffee. Back in a bit. So, close that one. Go to there. I don't know why that's not showing up. Let's reload that. Let's reload that. It's all getting reloaded. Hey. Viewers, I actually had 2 people watching me. Yeah, very nice. Probably my own website though, or probably my own YouTube channel, so probably doesn't count. Anyway, kind of neat. But I'll tell you what, I watched all these people doing this on the computer on a whole bunch of YouTube channels, and that's where I got the technical information from. The building information I just got from hands-on working a lot of jobs, a lot of construction companies, and had a little bit of school, but not much. So it can be done. So I'm going to keep on going for coffee. Bye for now. Turn the volume off there too. Volume. 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 Mute. Mute. Boonk. 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 Hey, what's that? What's that green thing? Comment. Oh, is there a comment? Cool, man. Messages, 0. What's that? Comments. Hey, I got a comment. Alright. Did I? I don't see a comment. Oh, hang on. Some dude said hi. Who's that dude? How come I can't see his comment? Let's try going to the channel. So, go to the channel. And what's this? Some dude said hi. Alright, let's say hi back. Hi. Who's this guy? Let's go check out his channel. Alright. Go to channel. Who's this dude? Do. Emod Zad. Created playlist. PC. Very nice. 250 gaming build. 275. Huh. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Back to where was I? Alright. Gotta finish off this wall here. There. So I'm definitely gonna need another one. So I'm gonna copy that stud. I'm gonna paste that stud. Put that stud right there. Now I need the spacing. I need 16 inches on center spacing so as to be able to affix the piece of drywall to the studs over a run of a distance of approximately 32 feet. So I need to put in some markers. Zoom in. Zoom in. 16 inch on centers. Now this first one's going to be right against that edge. So I'll put that there. And I'm going to go... Wish I could type in the... Can I type in the distance there? That'd have been nice if I could type it in. 16 inches is 1 foot 4 inches. 1 foot 4 inches. To there. Alright. Now I need a whole bunch of those. Let's move that into place. That's right on the edge there, right? That looks pretty close. Alright, so that stud is going to move onto the center of that line so that on each side of that stud I can fix a piece of drywall. Copy, paste. Let's move to there. Need that to be right up against the... Make sure I can get those nice and lined up. This one can move in a bit. That can move in a bit. Right to there. Center. Let's copy both of those. Control C, Control V. Move that to there. Let's get that lined up to there. 2, 3, 4. Let's copy all those. Paste all those. Line that up. Let's move these ones in a little closer. Oops, 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 oops. Let's select all those. Move those in closer. Line with those ones there. Zoom out. Now, let's put the studs in place. Zoom back in. Use the arrow keys. Nice precision. Looks pretty darn close. Arrow key. Move the arrow key. To the left a bit. There. Let's head on down to there. Oh, that one's almost on center. I can almost leave that one. I think that is. Let's move this one in to there. That look pretty centered. Now to the left a bit. Okay. It's 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do one more. What's going on here? Oh, I have to add another base plate in. Alright. So, let's add another base plate. That's the base plate there. Let's copy that. Paste that. I know my English is incorrect when I say let us do that, but I suppose I could use the word I, but okay, I'll try doing that. So I'm going to copy that and I will paste that there. And I'm going to copy another stud. I'm going to paste that stud, and I'm going to put that stud right there. Right there. And that's a little bit into the off the base plate there. Move that in. Okay, so with that in place, starting to look. Oh, hit the rewind button, undo move button. Bonk. Put that back where that was. It's starting to come along. Starting to look like something realistic. Alright, so let's make a piece of drywall just so we can have a bit of a view here. So let's take another box. Let's put that box on top of the floor. Oh, let's try that again. Left click on the box, hold the button down, move it over, and the box can go there. Now I need to take that box and I need to create a piece of drywall. So I'll call it drywall. And it's going to be a 4x8. So 4x8 width is going to be the x-axis. So that's 8 feet. The height is 4 feet. And the depth of the drywall will be half inch. Let's use a half inch. I think it's half inch for interior. Some people use quarter inch, but I'm going to go half inch. 3/4 inch would probably be extremely solid, but I'm fairly certain a half inch will do for now. So half inch, 0.5 of an inch. And press enter. And there's my piece of drywall, but I got the color wrong. Oh, it's half inch. Oh no, drywall's white, is it? No, it's more like an off-white, more of a cream. So let's change the color of that. Let's find something like that. Okay. Does that look like a piece of drywall? Suppose it looks like a piece of drywall. Kind of does. Alright, let's move that drywall into place. And move this drywall on the edge here. Let's get zoomed in there. Zooming on in. Zooming on in. Let's take that drywall. We'll use the arrow keys. Move that into the corner. Move that right up flush against there. I think that's alright. When does it start to creep through? It creeps through at that. So let's put that on the edge there. Okay. Right there I think will do. Now, with that in mind, let's bring out the inspector. The inspector. Where's the inspector? Alright, there's the inspector. Let's move this guy up into here. Let's turn him around. And looking for the drywall. Oh, so that's the drywall. If I look up. Alright, got the drywall there. But he's going to look at me and say, you need like a 1/4 inch gap at the bottom there, man. And I'm like, oh, sorry about that. I can change that. So what I'll do here is I'll zoom over to that piece of drywall. Zoom out here. So the inspector's watching me there. And I'll click on that drywall. Double click on that. And, oh, it is a 1/4 inch up. But is it? Because I got 1/8 of an inch. I want to see that gap. I know it's supposed to be a 1/4 of an inch gap. Let's try that. Well, that's pretty tough to notice, but there is a gap there. Alright, so now he's going to say, let me see you put a piece of drywall up there on the top of that so that we can determine whether or not you know what you're doing. I'll say, okay, I'll call you back. I'm going to be a while. I'll call you back. So, in order to do that, 3D view, let's go back to the aerial view. Let's select that drywall. Let's copy that. Paste that. Oh, look at that. Wish I could make drywall like that. That'd be nice. Little machine. Need a piece of drywall. Press a button. A piece of drywall shows up. Hello. So I'm going to put that in there. Now, I need the elevation of that to be at 4 feet, but it's actually a little bit let's go 4 feet, 1/4. Let's go 4.5 inch. Let's go 4 foot, 1 inch, just for now. Press that. Okay. Now that's there. Now let's move that up against the wall above that other piece of drywall there. Now let's move that in. But, well, no, I can do that from the outside there. Okay. So you can see the 1/4 inch is too much of a gap. Let's go to a 1/4. 4 1/4. 4 1/4. And you know what? I need that other piece of drywall. Let's change that back to 1/4 inch elevation off the floor. That's what it's supposed to be. Alright, so let's go to the outside of this and have a look at what we got. What we've got here is we need 2 top plates. So we still need a top plate to go on that, right? We actually need a couple top plates. So let me turn off the view of the drywall, because the drywall is really not supposed to be there yet. I mean, a person could do that if they want, but if it rained, you'd probably end up ruining the drywall. So I need a top plate. So, oops, I want to copy that plate, I'm going to paste that plate, and move that into there. Now I want to take that base plate. I want to change its elevation to, what have we got? Stud length. What's the length of that stud? Just a minute. Through wall stud, 7 feet 8 5/8 of an inch. And then I've got, what have I got? What's the height of that? This is a tough one. Alright, let's have a little drawing. I've got a base plate, and that's 1.5 inches, 1.5 inch. I've then got a stud that is, what's the height of that? 7 feet, 5/8 of an inch. Let's make this into a half so I can add this up. This is eraser work. I'm not very prepared, but that's alright. A half inch. It's not like I'm in an emergency or anything. So add that together. That's 7'8", 5/8. That's 7'8" plus 1/8. 1 inch is 7'9" and then I've got a 5/8 of an inch plus a half an inch. What does that work out to? That changes into an 8. That changes into a 4. That's 9/8. So that's 1 foot 1/8 of an inch. What did I just do there? 7'9" plus another, oh pardon me, that's 1 inch and an 8. 5/8 of an inch plus a half an inch is an inch and an 1/8. Add that to the 7'9" inches. That makes it 7'10" and an 1/8 of an inch. Should be the elevation of that base plate. Let's find out. Let's change the elevation to, what did I say? 7 foot 10 inches and an 1/8. Okay. Yeah, well, it's up top. Let's put it on top. How does that look? Is that measurement correct? Looks pretty good. No gap there. I think I can call that close enough. Well, that was pretty nice. Alright, so let's, oops, go back to here. Let's straighten that out. Oh, hey, why is that moving? Hang on here. So that goes that way a bit. I'm going to call that pretty darn close. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that. And I want to add another 1.5 inches to that elevation. 1.5 inches plus 10 1/8 is 11. And what is that? Half an inch plus 1/8 of an inch. I think I did that calculation. No, I didn't. Equals 4/8 plus an 1/8 equals 5/8. 5/8 of an inch. 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch. So that's 7 feet 11 and 5/8 of an inch. 7 foot 11 and 5/8 of an inch. I suppose this is quite difficult actually. But this is the easiest way I could make of explaining it. It can go, and actually on these two top plates here, I actually want to have that top plate there, and the reason for that is when I run the top plate through to the butt walls, which is the wall in between the through walls, it will overlap that one and create a more solid connection. And same at that end, there's going to be a bit of an overlap there, so it's going to connect those. We're not going to have one joint, a weak spot right there, right? It's going to be a little bit more solid. So I think, oh, let's check. Let's get the drywall in. Let's put that drywall back on there and let's see if that lines up properly. One drywall there, one drywall there. That's not lining up properly, probably because I haven't left enough of a gap between. Let's get the inspector in. Bring in the inspector. Let's go to the outside of the wall. Let's turn it around. Let's elevate this dude up. This guy needs to be at a higher elevation. Let's put him at 8 feet. 8 feet eye elevation. Alright, there's the top of the wall. Am I out? No, maybe I need to be on the inside of the wall. Check that out. Turn him around. And I am definitely out by... Oh, maybe I'm not. It just might be that I position these studs and it's covering the drywall. Oh, I'm definitely off on that measurement though. Like, I am definitely off on that measurement. Now, if I can pick that drywall out. So, why is that? Maybe I only needed one top plate. Let's find out. How many framing? Length of stud, length of stud for wall with 2 top plates and 1 bottom plate. With the sole plate and 2 top plates at 1.5 inches, the total wall height is 97 1/8 of an inch, which I believe is what I've got. I think I had that, didn't I? Let's find out. Oh, I can't tell because of the... oh yeah, I can. Elevation of that one, 7 foot 11. 7 times 12 is 84. Plus 11 is 5 is 95 inches. 95 and 5/8. See, my math's wrong here then. Oh, plus 1.5 inches, which is 96 and 9/8, which is 97 and 1/8. 97 and 1/8 of an inch. Is that correct? 97 and 1/8 of an inch. So that's correct. 2 top plates. What is the spacing between the drywall? Let's estimate the building. Okay, that might have the answer. Answer. The answer, stud leaves about a 1/2 inch to a 7/8 inch gap, depending on the thickness of the plate stop. And that's a good thing to have 2 takes on it. What does that mean? About a half. The answer is leave about a 1/2 inch gap. When I hang drywall, I want wiggle room. That's what is that? Contraction and expansion. The ceiling can dip, especially under roof trusses on a wide building, or the floor can have a hump. The last thing I want is to have to trim a 1/4 inch off a sheet of drywall. The extra 1/2 inch to 7/8 of a gap avoids this problem. After attaching drywall to the ceiling, lift the wall sheets up to the ceiling sheet and leave the gap at the bottom plate. The bottom edge of the drywall. Oh, now advertisement comes up. What a nightmare. If you add, which is too much. Hang on. Oh, what did happen there? The total, so with a half-inch drywall on the ceiling. Oh, there's still the ceiling. That's why. Sorry, that's why there's that gap there. Forgot about that. Forgot about that. I should have realized that. Half-inch drywall on the ceiling. A 1/7 gap is left, which is too much in my book. If you add 1x3 strapping to the ceiling as they do in the East Coast, you're left with an 1/8 inch, which is too tight. The answer is that leave about a 1/2 inch, depending on the thick stock. That's a good. It takes 2 on it. When I hang my drywall, when I go in, the ceiling can dip. All right. The bottom edge of the drywall should still be in contact with the plate. Extra. This gap is an expansion, and if I still 1/2 inch underlayment, 1/2 inch underlayment. Oh, there's the floor and the carpet too. But I don't really need to be concerned about the floor and the drywall. I don't need to attach that to the base plate. So the better question would be, is for this example, is what is the gap between sheets of drywall placed one on top of the other. Enter. Oh, there's an answer. That's not an answer. 1/8 of an inch space between sheets. So I only need an 1/8 of an inch on the bottom, but then I've got a 1/2 inch on top, and I want a 1/8 of an inch on that, which is 5/8. 5/8 at the top and 1/8 in the middle, and whatever's left in the bottom. So what I need to do is go back to there, and that was correct. So how much do I want to leave at the bottom? I don't want much. 1/4 inch. I could leave a 1/2 inch at the bottom. And I can put all my bug poison in there before I lay down the carpet. A 1/4 inch. 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch. 1/2 inch. Let's try a 1/2 inch at the bottom. So let's go back to there. Let's what's the elevation on that? Do I have elevation markings? Ah, it's too bad I don't have the elevation on that. I need to rename these drywall top and bottom. Which one is this one? Well, let's move that out to there. Let's take the inspector dude here and have a look at which one we're looking at. That's the top one. So that's drywall top. Drywall top. Ah, damn. Drywall top through wall. Through wall. Is that south? What is that, south? Just a minute. Yeah, that's the south facing wall. Drywall top, south facing wall. Drywall top, through wall. Drywall top, through wall south. Let's try that. Through wall south. That's north, east, south, west. Through wall south, west. And that's okay. So, and then when I go down to that one, it's that bottom one there, and elevation. Oh, elevation of that bottom one. This is where it becomes difficult. The sheathing is at 4 feet 11.5 inches plus 3/4 is because that's the is 5 feet. I made another mistake. No, it's 5 feet and 1/4 inch. That's correct. That frame should be at 5 feet and 1/4 inch. The frame, this needs to be at 5 feet and 1/4 inch. Is that correct? I'm sure the 4 feet 11.5 is correct. Sheathing. Then the sheathing, there's 3/4 added to that. That's 5 feet and 1/4. So this frame is actually at 5 feet and 1/4. I'll keep making. Well, what the hell just happened there? Oh, not this, not that. Oh. Oh, hang on, undo that. What just happened there? Sheathing. Oh, that's why. The floor joists. Oh, I lowered it down so I could see it, right? Oh, I'm gonna have to take a break. I think I'm done. The numbers are getting to me. They're killing me. I'm gonna have to take a break. But I want to finish this off before I do. The sheathing is at 411.5. The plywood, or the... Oh, that's why. I know why I left it. I left it below 1/4 inch. So this should actually be 5 1/4, but I left it at 5 feet so that the sheathing would show up and I'd be able to line up my base plates properly. So that's what that was. So, with that in mind, it's actually 5 feet and 1/4. I want this actually to be at 5 feet and 1/4. Elevations at 4 feet. What? Oh, I'm getting confused. I'm losing it. I'm not losing it. I'm losing my ability to do calculations with a nice flow. But that is definitely below there, so that's probably true. If that's at the sheathings at 4 feet 11.5 inches, that means the elevation... Oh no, I put this on the same level. That's why. It doesn't go on the frame level. It starts at... It starts at 5 feet and 1/4. It starts at 0. Elevation is at 0 for that piece of drywall, because that's the layer level elevation is at 5 feet. So elevation of 4 feet. That's the top one. Ah, fuck it. That's the top one. Is that the top one? Oh, I labeled them the wrong one. So I need this. I need to get. Let's turn that one off. Double click on that. This is bottom. Drywall. Bottom. Through wall southwest. You know what? I don't need to put all that in there. Drywall, bottom through wall. And the elevation of that is bottom. Let's say I want to. Let's put a 1/2 inch at the bottom. 1/2 inch. Where's my ruler? Do I have a ruler? I got a ruler around here somewhere. Oops. Ruler. 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. Oh yeah, easily a 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch isn't enough. 1/2 inch. Give me some room to play with. Alright. I can leave these off for now. So I want a 1/2 inch at the bottom. And I'm going to move that up an extra 1/4 because my elevation... No, I'll just leave that at a 1/2 inch. That's just fine. Alright, 1/2 inch at the bottom. Now then. Is there a gap there? I can't fucking tell. Excuse me. Pardon me. Let's move this into place. I shall move that into place. There. Now I want the top plate. The top plate. Where'd it go? Oh, first of all, I want to make it visible. Can't even see it. Top plate. Bonk, right there. Double click on that. Now I've got a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch at the bottom. So that's at least starts off at 4.5 inches. I add 4 feet, or pardon me, it starts off at 0 inches. I add 4 feet to that. And then I add 1/8 of an inch. This isn't in 16s, is it? No, this is all in 8s. So I had a 4.5, and then 4 feet, 1/2 inch. I want to add 1/8 of an inch to that. Press OK. And there should be a gap there of 1/8 of an inch, and it looks like there is. And at the top, let's bring in the inspector. At the top, that looks like to be enough. Let's find out. One more sheet of drywall. So I need to make a ceiling drywall. So I'm going to grab a box again. I'm going to throw a box right there. Let's go back to the virtual aerial view. There's the box. Now I need that to be a piece of ceiling drywall. Ceiling drywall southwest. That's 3/4 of an inches. Oh, now we got. Which way am I going to make this thing? I'm going that way. So the width is 8 feet. The depth is 4 feet, and the height of it is 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, 0.5 of an inch. Just click on there. That should change that. Yeah, it changes that to 1/2 inch. 8 by 4 by 1/2 inch. I want the color of that drywall to be a lot different, so I can determine whether it fits through contrast. So let's press OK on that. And let's press OK. There's that sheet of drywall. Let's zoom out of this. Now I need to raise that up. Put that in the corner. I want to raise that elevation. What do I want that elevation to be? Well, let's check this other piece of drywall. Drywall top. Drywall top. drywall top through wall. Alright. That's okay. And its elevation is at 4 feet 5 and 1/8 inch, so its total height is 8 feet and 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so let's select that. 8 feet. I don't think that's going to work. Oh, maybe. 8 feet and 5/8 of an inch. Okay, that's up top. Yeah, then let's see if I can get in close there. Whoa. Oh, can't get in that close. Time to call up the inspector. Yeah, the inspector, come have a look at this. Where are we? Here, on an edge view. Let's rotate that guy. Let's get his, these inspectors are very precise. So let's move the inspector to there. Eye level is going to go. It's need to go up a little bit higher. I want the eye level at 8 feet and 5/8 of an inch. Now let's go a little bit higher. 8 feet 1 inch. That might be able to do it. So let's take this here and let's see if that fits in there. It's got to be below the top of that base plate. Look at that. That fits almost perfect. And I've got a 1/2 inch on the bottom and an 1/8 of an inch to play with. Now let's move this guy's eyesight up a little bit more. Inspector's taking another step on the ladder there. That looks pretty darn close. Let's go down a bit. Is there a bit of a gap there? I hope so. Well, first of all, let's bring this guy over to here. Let's have a look around. Well, it doesn't look to be above that. It looks pretty good. If I go over to here, do I have... Oh, that's almost spot on. Alright, so back to here. Let's just use the... Oops. Oh, I can't move them that way. Can't do the shuffle with them. Let's drop the eyesight down to the corner. Down a little bit more. Oh, up a bit. Up a bit more. And I'm thinking I think that's going to be okay. Let's bring him in here. Hey, what happened? Well, oh, I'm above the plied. I'm above the drywall? I think I am. Let's go below. Let's go to 7 foot something. Yeah, that's better. Where is it? What am I looking at here? That's the inside corner. Let's back out of this view. I think I'm a little bit too close here. That's the corner. Because there's 2 more top plates going there, and that'll fill that corner in. So, by the looks of it, I'm fairly certain that's correct. We've got the overlap. Let's check our overlap on the edge of the wall. Oh, that sheet of drywall's out. going on with those sheets of drywall there? What do we got going on? Let's get rid of the ceiling one. Ah, that's why. Top one needs to be moved over. And there's the other half for the next sheet on that stud to attach to for the next portion of the wall. So there's the first 8-foot section of the wall, as you can see from there. And as you can see from there, it's all drywood. We've got the top plates overlapping, so we'll have the top. Here, let's finish off this top plate. Let's put another top plate on there. 3D view, aerial view. Where am I here? A little zoomed in a little too close. So let's take this top plate there, which is the bottom one, right? Let's copy that. Let's paste that. Let's take this over here. Now this is the reason why I left that overlap in the corner, because now as we move into here, this one is going to go to there. Oh, pardon me. It's not going to go to that edge. Let's make this a different color so we can see it. There. Let's line that up properly. Yeah, that's right on the corner. Now the next top plate, let's copy that, or let's copy this top plate that's over there because it's at the right elevation. Paste it. Let's put that there. And now let's make this color, let's make this a green, just to show you what's going on in this corner. Now I'm going to rotate that, and now you can see how the overlap works there. And if I take this top plate here and I change the color of that to, let's make that a blue. You can see the overlap there. See how that overlaps? Isn't that neat? And then it'll overlap at that edge, and it's also going to overlap at that edge, and that's going to go all the way across. So for now, I think that's pretty good for today. I think I can live with that. I think I'm pretty happy. Learned something new. Got a little bit of the frame up. Looks like a solid house to me. And of course, it's a little tiny house, but as I said before, all we got to do is this will get me in the market a lot sooner than later, depending upon where I live and depending upon what my income is and depending upon whether I can maintain that income. So say I'm now 30 years old and I've saved up a bit more money and I don't know, got a girlfriend or something. Maybe she wants to move in. So I have to build another one. So now I take another box, let's make it blue, and I repeat the process. And I basically say, all right, well, let's build another room here. Let's make a girlfriend. Maybe she likes the color pink. Maybe she wants her room to be pink, or her house, or her room, or on the property. So then we'll just move that to the edge here. And of course, we've got to put this at the proper elevation. Oops, let me copy that, delete that. Let's go to the grade, and let's just paste that in there. Oh, what happened there? God damn it. Copy that. Delete that. Oh, because I can't paste it to that level because that level's currently not. Okay, view level. So viewable. Okie dokie. So there's the grade. And alright, so let's do show all levels. Display all levels. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's put it down at let's put it at the end where the wall is. So now I attach another portion. I build the same thing and I put a door in there, and now there's another room for somebody. But that's the way I'm doing it, and that's the simplest way I can think of, and that'll save me a fortune, and it will give me something to do for the remainder of my life. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's the part 3 on walls. Part 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9, 10 are probably still going to be on walls, because I'm going to go all the way through this. And then I have to put in the electrical wire, which I'm going to put in there because I want to see it so I can measure it, determine how much I need, and figure out how much it costs. I want to put the electrical boxes onto those pieces of plywood depending upon where I want my light switches. I'm also going to want to put in the say maybe pot lights for the ceiling, or if I wanted to keep it really simple, I could just put plugs in and basically just buy fixtured lights. I mean, that's an option too, right? But I kind of like the pot lights, and they're fairly easy to install, and I can put them on a dimmer switch, so that's kind of nice. And for the size of this house, really not going to cost that much for it. I've still got the plumbing to put in, so I'll start the plumbing after I finish this frame up, because it's kind of nice to have the whole frame in. I'll just pull the plywood sheets off. I'll just take this level, make it unviewable for now, and so you get a total picture of the frame. And let's pull the drywall out there. Let's turn the drywall off. Drywall. Take the drywall sheets off there. Drywall off there. So now it's a real frame. So from there, I'm going to be putting in some electrical wiring, and I'm going to be putting in some plumbing conduits or PVC pipe, and I'm going to have to mark out the floor design for where I want the toilet to go, where my sink's going to be, counters, all those things. So this is a long project. It's the simplest I could make. It's basically a rectangular house. It'll probably have a door in it. It's probably going to have 2 doors, front, or probably one on each end. I'm not sure what the code is now, but it might be that you need at least 2 doors in a building. Not sure. And a few windows. I'm probably going to go with a flat roof. The actual roof design I'm going to go with for this is I'm actually going to have one stud wall there at 8 feet, and this back wall I'm going to put at 9 feet, and I'm just going to have a nice gentle sloped roof. Won't have to worry about rafters or anything that way. It's a very small house, and I can add to it, of course, right? So I can just continue to learn the process in my spare time. And I'm a little bit older now, so I've gotten past all the games and stuff, so although I really do enjoy the games, I tell you that, and the fun stuff, and I don't plan on wanting to lose all of that either, so I don't want to put too much time into this. I'll go crazy, right? I got to take some breaks and do some other things. And yeah, like for now, for instance, I think I'm going to go for another coffee, and yeah, see you next time. All right, thanks. Bye.